I am not the biggest fan of picking favourites, especially when it comes to fish. Each fish has its own special characteristic or quality that makes it stand out. But I've got to say, these Pheonix Rasbora, Boraras Mirror, are easily my favourite Rasbora of them all. For starters, they're cute as anything. Tiny wee things, definitely what you would call a microfish. That means they don't need a lot of space, so ideal for your nano aquariums. They're just amazing for a species only tank, or maybe a smaller tank with one other species that will complement them. They're a great wee schooling fish, and I would definitely recommend getting a dozen or so if you can, if not more. Like with a lot of fish, that's when you're going to see the best behaviour in them. You can go for bigger groups too, because they're so small they have a virtually negligible bioload. I'd go as far as to say you could probably keep a group of them in a heavily planted tank without even needing a filter. They've got those wonderful eye spots and dark markings on them all the way down and through their caudal fin and on their dorsal fin as well. And then they've got those beautiful red and peach colours. Their colours intensify at times, and you'll definitely notice that when you're feeding them. I'm pretty sure it's a way of communicating with each other. And the dominant male always seems to be the most colourful. So they're from blackwater streams and peat swamps in Southeast Asia, which are going to be heavily tannined from decomposing organic matter and substrate that's got fallen leaves and twigs down in it. That means they're going to be suited to softer water with a lower pH, and in those peat swamps in the wild the pH can be as low as 4. Ideal temperature range will be between 75 and 78 for them, and a planted tank that is dimly lit. But if you do have a brighter light, then floating plants will make them feel much more secure. Floating plants like frogbit, salvinia, duckweed, stuff like that will make them feel more secure anyway, in fact. They'll probably get a bit lost in bigger tanks, and they need a few spots to hide away when they want to. Also, they don't appreciate high flow. Tanks with too much current are going to be no good for them. In fact, this tank had too much current at one point, and I had to baffle the outlet. That was easy done on this flex here, just by adding a bit of sponge where the water comes out. If you're wanting to provide tannins, the same as they're used to experiencing in the wild, that can be achieved by adding an Indian almond leaf to the tank. You'll probably be looking for a lower pH if you're wanting them to breed. They only tend to breed at a pH of 6 or under. I would say probably a species only tank for that as well, because they are egg scatterers and other fish are likely to eat the eggs. A nice bit of moss lower down in the tank is going to give them somewhere to scatter the eggs. Tank mate wise, we're going to be looking at other nano or micro fish. I keep mine with celestial pearl danio or galaxy rasbora, otocinclus catfish, and there's shrimp in there. They may nibble on some of the smaller baby shrimp, but certainly not the adults that are bigger than they are. I keep ram's horn snails and Malaysian trumpet snails in here as well, that's fine. We're not going to want to keep them with anything too aggressive or anything that can swallow them whole, because they probably will. I do feel like CPDs are a good choice. Generally, the Danios stay lower down in the tank and the Rasboras use the upper levels, and it makes a really nice display. The colours kind of complement each other, as does the temperament of the fish. Feeding wise, they love microworms. They'll also like baby brine shrimp as well. They are microfish with very small mouths that don't open very well, so they will accept flake and pellets, but you need to grind them up really finely. And you want to feed them little and often. I'd say at least twice a day, small amounts twice a day is perfect for them. So apart from the microworms and the baby brine shrimp, any smaller live and frozen, and they'll take fry food as well. There we go. Pheonix Rasbora, Boreas mirror. An excellent little schooling fish with a peaceful disposition and is fascinating to watch.